The sun? Yeah. Nope. Right. Scare people, I guess. Channel your inner Nikolai. See, you bring the volume like kind of high and then cut it out a little bit. Like before you speak. Yes, welcome to the open mic here at Dragonfly.
Okay. Hi everyone. This is such a gentle class. I love the gentle class.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
That's not really
We're here. We hear you.
Thank y'all so much for being here on a Wednesday. It's beautiful out. We called the weather person. Yo, keep the sun out for a little bit. We're gonna do our Untitled open mic. We've been doing this open mic for 18 years.
Oh my goodness.
I know, right? But the main
We're now legal.
we've been doing this for a minute, but it has taken so many different shapes and forms, different venues. But one thing is true: we want to have a space where we can get together and talk shit. All right. It's been a space for poetry, but it's really a space for storytelling. You know, we have music. Um, we have folks who are just here to share their art, express themselves, and it's beautiful to be able to do that with friends and neighbors, right? And our community is forever growing and changing, and that is an exciting thing about the open mic here. My name is Ricky Ehim. I'm one of the co-hosts, co-organizers, and I'm gonna do some like quick housekeeping before we get on to our lovely open mic. Um, what we like to do in addition to the open mic is we have a little special edition that we like to tack on towards the end. So on the first Wednesday of every month, we do no whoa whoa hey, we're switching it up. We're switching it up. Usually on the first Wednesday, we like to do something called a poetry slam. Have folks been to a poetry slam before? I see some nods. Yeah. All right. If you're unfamiliar with poetry slam, it is sports with poems. All right. Two of my favorite things on stage. Okay. We play sports ball and we have poets compete with their own poetry. And we have guest judges and audience. It's a fun, interactive way to get people to listen and engage with poetry. So we do that. We have prizes. We sometimes invite other teams throughout the Northeast area to be a part of our slams. Those are called regionals. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in the future in our announcements. But what we also like to do is we like to have a feature, a headliner, a special guest come through to close out our open mic. We are actually pretty lucky today because it's not just one person. We have a wonderful collective being represented by CALAA. Make some noise for our features. We got some features in the house. Amazing. Some lovely work. We got the Cambodian American Literary Arts Association here in the building. They have wonderful zines, publications that are added to our welcome table or community library. So you can take a look at it and you can purchase one. All right. So I like to say you can't leave with a poet, but you can leave with the poems. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Hey, maybe. Hey, you my Venmo. I'll give you my personal Venmo. But yeah, besides that, we're here at the lovely Dragonfly Cafe. Could do a round of applause for our home venue. Ooh, they're so sweet. They're so sweet. They're like they invited us to be here. We're already working on or in our second year now. We're as well. We didn't do the anniversary party, but I guess we just do that every time, every first and third Wednesday. So support the venue. Grab some food, grab some drinks. They have a full offering, full bar. If you want to support the venue, but you're not hungry or not thirsty, our lovely table over here will happily take things. Okay, so feel free to send a drink or two if you just want to support Dragonfly Cafe. Okay, tip them well. They're wonderful folks. So yeah, if you haven't been to an open mic before, this is just an open platform for folks to come on stage and share their stories. It doesn't have to be polished. Started on deck. On deck. Yeah, is that okay? Can you do it? On deck, we got Connor. Connor's on deck. All right. But up next to help make this rug really staticky. And this is a good way to practice making some noise and welcoming our first homie. Let's clap it up for Rico! Woo!
All right. So I don't usually open. Nikolai gets that role. So you guys get to deal with me instead. I was talking earlier with some folks about cultural identity and how that plays a part in how I show up in spaces like these now. So this is some old shit from last year.
Old shit?
I keep wanting to say there's something profoundly ironic about this poem, but tears spill onto my brother's dining room table as I sit to eating takeout Indian food and watching a documentary on Facebook. Surrounded by the momentary chaos of takeout containers and half-empty cans and cups, it occurs to me that the tears trickling down my face are somehow a reflection, a realization of cultural suppression and a weakened connection to an ancestry that got lost in the shuffle of the day-to-day. Not much makes me cry these days, but somehow a half-hour video from my mom just flipped that switch. Each scene seems to evoke another memory. Flashbacks to fights on the sidewalk, laughing and jeering in the lunchroom, a not-so-subtle jab in the form of the question, where are you from? Truth is, I don't know. I know what my heritage is. Songs and stories sung and sold across the continents. The delicate taste of cumin, cardamom, and clove. The steaming cups of chai. But in all those stories, those images that may come to mind, there is something missing. Someone missing. For the woman in the story, kimchi was her connection. The complex courtship of cabbage, onion, chives connected her to both the Tyveks and Soveks of South Korea and the Appalachian range within the US. In my mind, my mother grows cucumbers on the patio behind my childhood home. The striated stalks are fruitfully laden, joined with tomatoes and peppers. And when mixed together, they fill our hearts and minds and stomachs to bursting. A symphony of savory delight, every bite an homage to stolen spices. By now, the tears have become salt-stained riverbeds in the forest of my beard. Each bite of samosa a transcendent experience. Pav Bhaji placating my wandering mind, but it is not enough. By the time I am finished, all that remains are broken fragments of memories, borrowed stories shared over meals much like mine. And though the hunger is gone, the yearning remains, gnawing, twisting things, still ravenous for resolution, still hunting for a hint of belonging. Woo!
Let's give it for Rico. Wow. That's the hot Rico one of the organizers. Always stay fitted. Thank you for opening. Beautiful. A few things for folks who are on a microphone. These mics, I realize people are not the same height. Okay, right? That's kind of silly. You can adjust it by simply pushing it up like this or bringing it down like that. Okay, so that's that. We do have a mic stand over here, and um, y'all been showing so much love. I appreciate that, but let's show a little bit of disapproval. Can I get a boo host? Boo! Damn, that actually hurt a little bit. I forgot to mention ways to also show that you're actively listening and showing love. So, if you've been to a poetry event, all right, you may be familiar to the stage, okay? So, it takes a little bit of work to show up. And I love all the homies who are here contributing the vibes and listening. So, be a part of the show, all right? Give that energy back. How's the homies in my back room doing? Y'all doing? Yeah, thumbs up. I love thumbs. Can I get a hoot and holler over there? Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. I love that. All right. With that being said, um, uh, Lift Kate, you're going to be on deck. All right. Coming up next, this person actually. How can I describe this? Do you know how mushrooms randomly just like show up?
Oh God.
This person actually goes around and plants them by tiptoeing around the forest. Very magical. Please make some noise and clap it up for Connor!
Yes, I'm a mushroom man. Do you know the mushroom man? All right. This is some brand new shit.
Brand new shit!
I wrote this today. It's terrifying.
Oh my
I want to do it.
Great.
All right. Tea is something essential to every writing session that takes place in my life. I sit here writing this poem next to a mug of steaming hot tea. Green tea leaves mixed with lemon ginger, my favorite. / what I am confined to. The truth is, I was never a tea drinker. I was a coffee man through and through. But stomach issues have forced me away from my love of the beans and the steam and the bitters that used to delight my tongue. Now I'm stuck with the healthy option, the better option, the tea option. So to get my caffeine, which I need or else I cannot write, I must sacrifice. Though there is something sweet, delicate, and delectable about these gentle leaves that grace my taste buds. Nothing can compete, but nothing can compete with the sucker punch of the deep black attack of my oh-so-missed coffee beans. Alas, I am a tea man now, imprisoned within these trees that sprout from this newfound habit. I think I like tea. Well, I do. It's just not the same. Life isn't the same. The tea man is slower than the coffee man, less chaotic. He thinks more. Maybe it's the culmination of my life's work, the work to slow down. I gaze up at the trees and feel the leaves as opposed to bulldozing over them like the construction zone down the street from my house. Bastards. Okay, maybe I'm thinking too hard into it. Tea helps me, right? It keeps me awake after work. I can't have coffee, so I have tea. I am simply a tea man. Thank
Shout out to the tea man. All right. What is the sound of the what do what's the chicken sounds like? Yes. Okay. If you drink coffee, can I get a quack quack? All right. And if you drink tea, can I get a quack? A bunch of wild animals here. All right. Keeping the open mic going. I just want to remind y'all, It's a cute open mic. I just got a email confirmation saying that yes, this open mic at Dragonfly Cafe is the cutest right now. Okay, so thank y'all so much for making that happen. If you feel inspired to jump on this open mic, because we're so giggly over here, wait till someone fucks you up. Watch. Um, come through. We have some space, and then we have our lovely feature, our lovely showcase from CALAA coming up after our open mic. Yes, very excited, very excited. Okay, beautiful. They have zines for sale back there, so check out our welcome table. Okay, on deck. On deck is me. Awkward. Let's say that. Let's say that. Yeah. But up next, this homie here. All right, so you know when you walk into a forest, right?
Oh god.
Okay,
Oh god.
and you see the lights um looking like dapply. This person is the dappler. They created both the light and the shadow through their sheer presence of wisdom. Yeah, with that, make some noise for our lovely homie, Liv Kate, y'all. Welcome to the stage.
Hello, everybody. How we doing tonight?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna be reading y'all two of my poems. I usually only just read one, but you know why not? The first one, it was just I wrote this from like a name that my mother kept calling me, and I was just like, why she keep calling me this? One, I didn't understand it, but then I was like, you know what? I kind of thought it would be cool to write it into a poem, so here we go. Pandora box. You will never know the next move I make, for it'll probably be a mistake. My words come from purity, yet can have a double meaning, causing harm. My emotions come and go, like a roller coaster stuck in a loop, spiraling into madness. I look at you in wonder or disgust at the things you do, debating what to say. When I write, my words are smooth like honey, sharp like a blade, full of unknowing. When I do something, it can be for good or bad intentions, depending on the outcome. Everyone wishes for me to stay, while others want me to leave, for I bring love and fury. I never realized what it really meant to be a Pandora's box until you said it. Maybe I've grown to a liking of its title, forever being your Pandora box of surprises.
Yeah.
And the next one I have is I just thought of this concept of I've always called myself the black sheep of the family, being called the weird girl and whatnot. But I've just grown, you know what? It's okay to be the weird girl. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, who's normal, right? So, forever the weird girl. Ever since I was little, I have always played with Lala Loopsy dolls. I don't know why I was fascinated by them, but my mother wasn't. She always got creeped out by their bunted eyes. When I saw this, I thought they looked beautiful and innocent. Ever since middle school, I loved rock, J-pop, indie, pop, lo-fi, and jazz. Anything with variety. I don't know why I enjoyed them, but my mother didn't. She questioned how relatable they were and how well I comprehended foreign languages. When I heard them, I felt understood and seen for the first time. Ever since I was little, I have loved drawing all sorts of characters, from cartoons or my imagination. I don't know why I did. My mother wasn't keen on it. She was disgusted by how I created my characters, wishing I had done something else. Whenever I draw, my mind swirls with ideas and scenarios I wish to write. Ever since I was in middle school, I have loved watching anime and reading manga. The artists used all sorts of crafts to cueing my interest with their form, but my mother never liked it. She thought they were weird and sinful for what they showed. I admired what they offered, and it inspired me to try something new. I've always been the weird girl, and that's okay. It doesn't change me for who I am, but makes me love myself even more. Thank you.
Give it up for the homie, yes. Love that. Make some noise if you're a weird girl. Okay. All right. Check. Weird girls in the building. All right. Cool. Um, on deck. Hazel, you're on deck. Okay. What's something about me? Oh, let's see. So if you ever in the forest, right, and your phone runs out of battery, if you take two ferns and rub them together, right, really hard, and put your phone on top of it, um, you will have both a dead plant and a dead phone. I'm, I'm gonna read one of a poem that I wrote last month, which is cool because I don't write. Period.
New shit.
Um, on a car ride to UNH, I finished 3 poems and a whole bag of chips. I like romance as I type out these poems. I like to romanticize the past and the things that didn't happen yet. Isn't that like a poem? I really want a poem, a dinner right now. I've been romanticizing rice or anything with more sustenance, while triangles the shade of organic corn and cheese gets displaced into my mouth, fills the blank space in my body, still an empty feeling. My fingers smell like nacho seasoning, the non-GMO kind, and a gas pump handle, so all corn. I wish I wrote more regularly, things with more sustenance. Or am I thinking of subsistence? Honestly, I don't know. And I ask my phone, and it tells me subsistence is the act of barely getting by, whereas sustenance is a support that allows one to thrive or endure. Y'all, I think I mean substance. It was National Poetry Month, and I said it like a question. I don't know what month it is even. I get my April, May, and June confused, but June is my birthday, and that didn't happen yet. Oh, my birthday was a couple days ago. April 4, May 5, June 6. These numbers assigned to these months is like a countdown, but in reverse. Isn't that what time is? Isn't that just a poem? Romanticizing the months until winter becomes spring. Next thing you know, it's summer. And you're eating rice outside, or maybe you're eating a poem, something that reminds you of full and a definition of substance, physical material, the matter, the essential essence of something. I want to write something that matters. Lately, my brain is too small, this big. I say it to my friends. They say, huh? Man, I can't even communicate my incompetence. I'm out of practice. My writing. I haven't finished a poem in months. I'm ashamed to help me write Instagram captions. I ask artificial intelligence, boo me. You guys can boo me again. But doesn't it sound less bad? You know, better with more syllables, artificial intelligence. See what I did there? I just poemed it. But that's the incorrect usage of the word because there's no romance. Just more or less, just nacho cheese, dust the shape of a broken picture frame, a bag of yellow fragmented star tips filling the blank spaces beneath a picture, a caption, a poem, say something beautiful. Okay, late July, Charlotte, North Carolina, certified organic by Quality Assurance International. The chips, that's what's written on the bag of late July brand nacho cheese flavored chips. That's the bag I finished. That's the poem I've eaten. That's the time I numbered. That's the memory I romanticize. All right, keeping the open mic going. All right, welcome, folks. Thank you for being here, bringing the golden hour with you. It's so kind, so generous. Okay. If you feel inspired to jump on a open mic, we got some slots here. Okay. But on deck we have our lovely homie Jason. Jason, you are on deck. All right. I'm excited to bring this next homie. So if you're ever in the forest, okay, all right, and you cross over a bridge, and it whispers something to you, all right, it's an interactive art piece that this person actually built to discuss the idea of conversations in nature. All right, I can't read the whole artist description, but make some noise for the homie Hazel.
Hello, everybody. How are you? So I originally was gonna read poetry, but then I was like, hey, why don't I read an excerpt of something I wrote for a nonfiction class? And then as I was sitting there listening to poetry, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna read poetry again.
Yeah.
So, this one I wrote called Spaceship Found at Benson Park. Benson Park is a sacred place, except for the time I ran through there stripping down to my underwear, looking for the spaceship that Tyler told me about through his songs that I would listen to on repeat, repeating phrases to myself out loud, but really in my head, because I couldn't tell if those voices were real or if the people I saw were really making faces at me as I ran through those woods past the dog park looking like demons. Like I ever saw a real demon before this moment. And then I was standing on the step of a house across the street, attempting to explain how I lost all my clothes except my underwear, and that somebody robbed me for my clothes, and that it was a dog walker, and I was afraid to get inside that police car. And when they interrogated me, I told them I couldn't explain why the dog walker was there and why I was basically naked. And when they drug tested me, I thought I was being inducted into the Illuminati, but instead my blood was negative. And they called my parents when the only number I could remember was my dad's, and Section 12 put me in the hospital. So my parents collected me from Hudson Police Station, and I spent 2 unwilling weeks at McLean. I still go back to Benson Park sometimes, but it never feels the same as it did before I was diagnosed with bipolar type 1, schizoaffective, and the hallucinations evaporated like dewdrops on the grass under a rising sun in the crisp autumn air. This next one is called. This next poem is called "But I'm a Cheerleader Watch Party at the End of the World." Rage is the foundation of this body I've built from the myriad misgenderings. Brothers, dudes, mans, he's, hims, they all feel the same. Southpaws to my jaw, unhinging and dangling closer to the ground. And that's where I'll be, sooner than I'd like. At least that's what statistics say. Suicide rates and murders. And I couldn't help but notice the weather looking colder as a man playing God makes near instantaneous decisions that determine the death of my friends. Maybe as I watch But I'm a Cheerleader, the time will pass slower and we'll all die less painfully. Maybe as I write this poem, the words will find all of our tongues kindly, and we will all find it in ourselves to posture to generations behind, so the future doesn't collapse inward and leave the earth rotted inside out from its core, and we may all have castles built on, or bodies built on love instead of rage. And then I have one more, and it's very short. It is called "That's the Motto." Hardly a whistle's heard from these rocks, no wind. Hot crashes making foam in the crisp afternoon shore air. I find peace in you. Crackers, juice, and berries shared with my friend. On a bench across the ocean, we play with the inchworms, reminders of my old sandbox. And at the end of it all, embrace everything that comes easy, because those days are over swiftly and you may never find the time again. It can't hurt to live outside your stewing head. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Also, hello, the team man is back.
Quack, quack.
Quack, quack. So we're going to take a quick little break from the open mic to do some important announcements. And then we're going to get back to the open mic. And then we have back to then proceed to our amazing feature that we have tonight. You know, I can speak, believe it or not. All right, so let's get on with it. So the Lowell Poetry Wheel, who is that? That is us. And we are a very wobbly wheel because we only have 3 spokes. We kind of wobble all down the road. But we have 3, there are 3 very important spokes, all right? So the first spoke is the Untitled Open Mic, which we are at here right now. Then we've got Free Verse, which is our youth poetry program. And then we've got Mill City Speaks, which is our slam team. And one of the amazing things about any of these events you come to is that we do not charge any cover fees when you come to any of our events, because we operate solely on grants and donations. Now, what does that mean? That means we are broke as hell. So, yeah. There was a tradition that the late and great Dr. Douglas Bishop started here. He would take off his hat, pass it around. If people had any extra change, any money, or good vibes, pass into the hat. If they didn't give a damn, keep passing the hat along. And Rikov has generously given us his granddad's hat to continue this tradition on. However, I will preface this by saying that if you do have extra money, please put it first towards the amazing staff at Dragonfly Cafe. And then if you have anything else or any good vibes, don't give a damn, pass the hat along. I'm going to start that passing right now. All right, so what else is new, right? Upcoming events. Yes. So, as you know, Untitled Open Mic, we do this every first and third Wednesdays of the month, meaning we have another open mic for June on the 17th. And it's going to be a feature. Shelby Coe is going to be featuring.
Shelby?
Yes.
Love Shelby.
Local favorite around here. And then going on to the following month on July 1st, we're going to be having a 4x4 slam.
Oh my gosh. What does that mean?
4 slam teams are going to be competing. And we have the slam teams. It's going to be us, Mill City Speaks, Boston Poetry Slam, Prov Slam from Providence, Rhode Island, and then Slam Free or Die from Manchester.
Slam Free, yep.
Yes, Slam Free. So don't miss that. That's going to be an absolute time. And then on the 15th of July, we have a feature for our very own Mackendy Izamine is going to be featuring. And he's on a book tour as well. He's stopping by to give us a feature, so don't miss that as well. Let's see, what else? Kitchen closes at 8 o'clock, I believe, and bar closes at 8:30. I'm gonna take that as a yes. Yeah. I always question myself every time I do this, and it never changes. But don't forget to visit our library and the magazines and stuff that are there for sale. Please visit that. It's amazing. Our email sign-up list is there as well. Visit our website, lowpoetry.com. Follow us on Instagram at lowpoetrywheel. I think
We'll just make it.
stream YouTube.
Yeah.
Streams on YouTube. Yep. I think we're good. Yep. I think we're good. So let's get back to the open mic, y'all.
Yeah, let's give it up for Connor. Let's give it up for Connor. Important details. Important details. All right. Keeping the open mic going, moving along. On deck, we have the homie. Miriam, you're on deck, friend. All right. Okay. But up next, so if you're ever in the forest, right? I don't know. I like it. It's luscious. It's probably growing really nice over there. If a tree falls down and no one's there to hear it, no, this person's always there. And they're always listening. Please make some noise for the homie Jason! Come on until Jason gets to the microphone, y'all.
I grew up in New Jersey, and yeah, every once in a while I go down and visit some family that I love deeply, but there's a reason why I live here now, and so this is some new shit about a recent trip down there. Before visiting my hometown, about once a year, I go back to the foamy orange stream that winds the unshaved woods between my first home and the state highway that gives the forest a sense of a continuous sigh. And to the people who grew from there, dug their roots down, and made lives for themselves on the ground where they first fell. Not like me, carried along and aloft in the belly of some sick bird and landing splat in the soil, whose different chemistry has seemed exotic, whose lead-laden canals are, to me, Venice. But once a year I dig out my old self, put it on, look in the mirror, bemused at how it drapes in costume over the real me, until I realize I leave tomorrow and remember how I'll spend the next week wearing this bad fit. I feel my face sink into horror, though in the mirror I still see a smile. Just one more. While I'm driving through North Jersey, a spotted lanternfly lands on my windshield. I'm on the phone when it happens, hearing out a friend who explains the neuroses that have plagued him in his writing. Hasn't written for some years now, but has more pens than he'll ever need. In the apocalypse, if anyone needs a pen, he will be a rich man. Then, a spotted lanternfly suddenly appears on my windshield like it popped right there into existence, and who's to say it didn't? Aware of my solemn duty to destroy it, I turn on my wiper, dreading an awful mess I'll then have to stare at all through the long drive north to parts non-Jersey. But that's not what happens. The spotted lanternfly takes my one-off wiper strike, which misses with annoyance. He seems to stomp his leg in protest, the way an angry, make everybody walk on eggshells pop-up throws hands during the rants punctuating his spells of Fox News reverie. I hear a honk, realize that the standstill has thawed. My friend, hearing the honk too, is now going on about traffic, how it's worse now, how everything is worse, is only going to be worse. The way the sun bakes the asphalt, I am only a hind. My whole mind is fixed on the spotted lanternfly now. I try it with the wiper once more and watch in slow motion as the blade flies across the windshield and stops just shy of his face. But this time, feeling ornery, in the malaprop South Jersey sense in which ornery means mischievous but not mean, I leave the wiper going, watch the blade go back for another shot, and as it approaches, I shit you not, the bug punches the blade back.
Oh.
Punch is the only word for it. He takes his little bug appendage and swings equal and opposite at the giant arm of oblivion sweeping over his world. The blade flies back as if repelled, and for one shocked moment I just stare, let my friend's words break over me, as they had for the better part of an hour, something about how they'll be putting sawdust in the pills soon. And now the traffic is picking up, so that it's no longer good enough to coast on potential. I have to actually gun the engine to prevent too much space opening up in front, and someone clever in the next lane from thinking he could take what's mine. And I watch the spotted lanternfly begin to flutter as the air pours over my car. His legs stiffen, the paper of his body flapping more and more violently, revealing under the spots a layer of pure red. His antennas go warped and flattened against his head like he's Tom Cruise clinging to the side of some vessel that hurtles through space. And I'm one with my friend, 100 miles away and counting, and one with the psychos racing me to my left and my right, one even with my bastard pop-up, and one with the spotted lanternfly. I'm holding on to what ground I've got with every leg I've got, and waiting for the world to finally shake me off.
Shout out to the homie. Give it up for Jason, y'all. Loved it. Gotta do a quick temperature check. If you feeling good, can I get yeah?
Yeah.
If you're feeling not good, can you say it's awesome here? Hey, somebody check on these folks. Make sure they're good. All right, we got a couple more folks on this open mic before our main event, our incredible showcase of talented writers representing the Cambodian American Literary Arts Association. All right. I just want my homies to know what it is. And all right, if you come on in here, can I get a all right. Okay, cool. All right. On deck we have the homie Peter. Peter, you're on deck. All right. I'm excited to bring this next homie here. All right. If you've ever been to a forest, but then you take 2 steps back and you realize you're seeing an incredible a photograph, maybe in a museum or on your desktop. This person may have taken that photo. Okay. Was it always making the club welcome there to the stage? Coming for the homie, y'all. That's for Marion, y'all. Clap for the homie.
Not sure if it's good yet. Shit.
I'm not sure if it's good yet.
Why write? AI can, they say. So why bother? It takes so much time. There are those who will stop writing because AI can. And then there are those who will write more because AI can. I write for them. Give me the GPT that feels it in its gut, that ache that won't stop until you do, because how the fuck else are you supposed to know it's a poem? Give me the Claude that leaves a room absolutely wrecked, lovingly seen, after a stranger gets up and says, this isn't finished. Write for the poets who know neither are they. Write because that is the whole fucking point. The thing is, no one will know if you don't, but you will know if you do. So write when no one is listening and when you want your grandchildren's grandchildren to hear. Write because she couldn't. Write for your mother and your mother's mothers and your unborn daughters. Write for them and for you because you are them and they are you, but they won't know you unless you write. Write because you have a deadline and because you're jobless, because you're terrified of being alone and you think of him more instead of less like they promised you would, and you can't stop the snowball that's now an icicle that won't let you speak until you admit that you're terrified the only love language you ever learned fluently was how to miss someone. Right? Because you are at sea and shore isn't visible, but this raft of paper might be. right? Because there's a buzzing, a beehive that does not care that it's 3 a.m. unless you put one syllable in front of the other and another, right? For the heartbreaks too huge for small sentences. They'll tumble headfirst without grammar or stanza, afraid of the sounds their own syllables might make, right, to give them a home. Don't worry if it doesn't have a title. Some people will always think they know you by your name tag, right, to prove them wrong. Right, because you want to call, but his voice sounds less like the face in your words now and more like the silhouette you create every time in your rear view mirrors. Right, to remind you people in those mirrors always look better than they were. And the car always drives you back here alone with your words, the only place you don't feel it. Right? Because sometimes you hate them enough to want them to choke on the irregular beat of a heart that's been ripped out and stuffed back in, sentenced to beat on and survive as long as your sentence is, right? Because sometimes you want them to feel what it is to know that someone else's silence will always be louder than your words. Right? To feel the void between can't and won't, the hesitation before I do, the reluctance before I love you too. For every selfishly motivated, selfless word said for the rest, I hope you write one for you too. We don't always have enough rope for a final descent, right? For the ones who climb anyway. For the ones who know it's the one thing you do, not because you have to, but because you don't.
Give it up for the poet, y'all. Y'all know what you gotta do now, right? What you gotta do? Right? Come write some shit. Right? Come back over here. Yeah. Perfect, perfect. I just want to do another invitation. I keep my phone keeps on blowing up. I got another update. I got another email. This is officially the cutest room in the entire world right now. Give it up for yourself. Applaud yourself, y'all. Y'all made that happen. So yes, thank y'all. Thank y'all for being here. We do that the first and third Wednesday. If you feel tickled, to share, a poem, a short story, maybe a gratitude out loud on the mic. Oh, the silence sheet is right there. We're getting very close. I'm excited to bring up the next homie to the stage. Say it with me. Have you ever? No, I want you to say, been in the forest. Have you ever?
Been in a forest.
This homie actually, moss. It grows a certain direction. Who knows what it is? Apparently, this person just goes around touching things, and moss grows because the touch is regenerative. Regenerative?
There you go.
I feel it. The moss is inside my heart, and they're going to be on the stage, and moss will be on this microphone. So welcome Peter to the stage. Come to Peter to the
Is it growing north?
Gonna start right here, right now too. What's up, guys? For Asian American Pacific Islander Month, I am actually late, but I do wanted to share this one with you guys. Let me try to do it raw. Go, Peter! Content warning mentions of PTSD. If you can travel back through time, which era would you go back to? What would you do back then with what you know now? Why? Such questions, ones that dare to daydream and disturb the multiverses. Questions, consequential ones that differentiate us from wild animals. We try so hard to prove that one person can change the entire world. But back to banter. I step backwards a few generations, go back to my motherland. A renaissance of music, artistry, and dance. Uh, Melting pot of cultures, abilities, and achievements. Our potential, a world wonder woven into the center of our flag, as far and wide as Angkor Wat can see throughout its kingdom. Before the Khmer Rouge invaded the capital city Phnom Penh on the day of Cambodian New Year's, I'd actively avert atrocities, save as many people as I can, like my aunts and uncles, lost in the chaos, never be seen again. My mother just turned 80 years old. She tells us stories from when she was a city nurse playing doctor to when she survived genocide by either playing dumb or playing dead. Some days she's still a master's who speaks in science. Other days she's still a scared young woman who's surviving in silence. Like she's still riding on that wagon on death road, paid by self-crowned tyrants who became prime ministers of mass murders, civilian forced crimes against humanity, guns cocked to their craniums, but no two kings see war crimes the same. It's sad, but I do see a delicate shade of shame. But if everything does truly happen for a reason, then trying to change the past will only destroy our futures. Like poetry, how we keep writing without knowing the ending. So not the 1970s, I go back to the 1950s. Cambodia has just gained its independence from France. A rebirth, a second chance for my people to start again, to find their own identity, what it can mean to be Cambodian. A humble pride of a great and loving peoples, kings and queens, with now the resilient hope of a refugee spirit amidst speechless sorrow. Những chiếc ca chụp the đắp trên khoai của hòn. We are the lotus that grew from the killing fields. So if we never get the chance, we only go back in order to move forward, or at the very least learn. So if I never get the chance to go back through time, my peoples from present past are never truly gone, as long as we keep the stories, the memories alive.
Wow. Give it up for the poet, everyone. So we have officially reached the end of the open mic. But we have something really small to get to before the feature. So we have what we call the working section. So this is what we do to give our last minute addition to the open mic. We're not going to the working section yet, everyone.
She's inspired. I've been inspired.
Could I please welcome Chanda? Chanda to the scene.
I got the itis.
The question is, what are you doing in the forest?
Oh, what am I doing in the
Solid.
forest? I'm trying to find my way. Thank you, CALAA, for having us here today. I am very inspired, and I'm also very emotional. And thank you, Peter, because I felt like that was the moment that called me up here. Yes. So I wrote a poetry that was published on an independent platform called I Am From on Cultural Daily. I am from rice porch soup, please go, rahok tea, nomba joke, and some mama jukuru, lemongrass, turmeric, galangal, kaffir lime leaves, garlic and chilies, crushed and grinded in a mortar and pestle into a fine golden paste. I am from the soil of tropical monsoons and the seasons of dry and rain. Silk blooms for some foot, gold thread blouse, and hand woven shawl. Majestic wooden stilt homes and gable roof, a lost piece of the puzzle of enclosed mysteries. I am from, I want to live a life of understanding. All things are interconnected. Actions have consequences. Be mindful of actions that can spawn suffering. I am from a place that is healing from a tragic past. 2,000 years of tradition diminished in 4 years. To remember is hard. To forget is to leave behind who you are. Thank you.
Was this your first time up here
It is.
on the Untitled Mic? We have a little thing that we love to do here at the Untitled Open Mic when it's someone's first time they share at the open mic. So what we like to do is we like to go 1, 2, 3, and we're all going to shout, "Please come back." Can we all do that, everyone? Yeah, can we do that? 1, 2, 3. Please come back! Woo! So with that, we have officially finished the Untitled Open Mic. But we have the working section, which gives myself and my fellow co-hosts a chance to share poetry. We've already shared poetry, so we're going to be sharing a little bit more because we're just a little bit greedy.
We're broke. We're greedy.
We're broke and we're greedy. Yep. That's how it goes around here.
I do not know the rest of the state.
So I'm gonna go first because I'm extra greedy and I'm already up here. That tea poem was the only new poem I had for a very long time. So you're getting some old shit. Old shit. And I had a poem in mind, and I changed it last minute because I was inspired by that writing poem. So we have a different poem. Still old though. Quicksand, frozen ice, anchor, ball and chain. I am stuck. I can't write. Or can I? Because I'm writing right now, but it's none of that good shit. The special polished shit. Because if my writing is not perfect, then it can't be shared, which is its own vicious cycle, because in my eyes, all of my writing is never perfect. Burn the page, crumple it, and throw it into the trash. Lord, I am in prison, writing jail, overworked and sleep deprived to the point where the writing I am trying to release is dead on arrival. Why bother? I honestly don't know, because I'm writing this now, this rant, this thing. But the practice of writing is important, you know? Even though this mundane mess I'm spewing onto my phone screen like blood spilling through an IV is anything but pretty. Does writing have to be pretty, though? I find myself spinning. Everyone's work is so pretty and smooth while I am jagged, splintered, piercing the veil of soft and delicate skin. I'm getting off track. The practice of writing is important because when we feel lost, stuck, drowning in quicksand of our own exhaustion, self-hatred, we need to keep pushing. Push until you can see the light at the end of a seemingly never-ending tunnel, a sunrise that we can't see. Exercise the muscle of writing, even if myself and all of us hate it and have no will to lift. That muscle will grow, and one day, hopefully, it'll thank us for walking while the gravity of life tried to pin us down. Fuck it, this is no good. Control, Alt, Delete. Thank you. I would like to welcome one of my fellow co-hosts up here. So, if you're walking through a forest,
Go in.
and if you look up into the trees and you see a bird's nest, this amazing human being supplied the birds with every single twig, every single bird nest in the entire forest. Give it up for Ricky, everyone.
Thank you for seeing me. Appreciate you.
But yeah, I'm just excited to share the stage with so many wonderful folks, and of course, a lot of Cambodian writers as well. I'm just gonna do some bullshit.
Oh,
When my mother was pregnant with me, she and my father owned a donut shop in San Francisco. She used to joke around with her customers about naming me after donut flavors. Okay? Like glaze, jelly boy, French cooler. My name was deep fried and tossed into something sweet, so American folk can chew on it easy. I was born in Salem, Wichita, Massachusetts. My father flew across the country with boxes and a broomstick in the back of the U-Haul. This jelly boy popped out. Call it a miracle. Call it homeland that can fit in my parents' arms. My dad didn't make it to the hospital in time, so my uncle, this dark-skinned Cambodian with a fryer grease for a long he had the responsibility of writing my name down. Of course, some Cambodians can't spell for shit. I was supposed to be named after this Thai singer, someone my mom loved listening to. My name is actually a typo, I think. All right. It's spelled Sophorna. The PH in my name is pronounced more like a punk than the F sound. There's a lot of other Cambodian people the same SOPH prefix. Like my dad's Sapun, SOPHON, and my ex P SOPHY, and one of my besties, Sapet, SOPHEAK. My name is pronounced Sapunya, Rafiki Ho's baby symbol of both prime rock, but my name is not Rafiki or Simba. It is Simba's butt. It's where wisdom and youth collide as my grandma screaming out my name from the second floor window for me to eat dinner to a family of wild animals. I just want to make my family proud. I just want to make 2 generations of Oxens proud. My name is a proud mistake. My name is a donut. Cause like a donut with the hole in the middle cut out, I use my middle name as my hole. I introduce myself as Ricky. But I do think about the first name sitting in the back of my throat. If when it comes out, will it be burnt? Sapunya. My parents aren't together anymore, but I like to believe that they share their home in me, Sapunya. I was supposed to be named after a Thai singer, but I like to think I write my own love songs now. Sapunya, my sister, when she was born, we watched Lion King every night to help her fall asleep. If there's anything I can leave y'all with, it's that some Cambodians can't spell if their life depended on it. We put an H wherever we want. I think it's to show y'all that we're still breathing. Thank you.
So we have one more member of this purple section before we get to this feature. This next amazing human being. Now, one last time, when you go to a forest, this amazing individual is the roots underneath every tree. Please give it up for my amazing friend Rick Off, everyone.
What phantom has inhabited these disparate limbs? I force and flex each joint, the cold gray of the morn echoing in every bone. A rattling call, morose, forlorn, and yet far from deathly still, this life of whimsy, driven ambling, feckless freedom found, thought dimmed, tingling that moves despite unknowing, an apparition. But still, I call it friend. Welcome its passing, a benediction, a blessing in the form of unfeeling. I wonder if it remembers the route from muscle to muscle, a surrender of control, of awareness, only a temporary affliction. You know, I started us off on a real low note. Got some sad shit at the beginning there, right? So I figure I'm gonna bring us up, uplift, get us moving in a more positive direction, and get some energy going for our wonderful features coming up right after this. So, some untitled shit.
Untitled shit.
And some romantic shit.
Romantic shit.
I wonder if this poem is the same poem. The way that each sunrise shines in nearly the same way, despite the snowfall, despite the rain, despite everything that could smother it, still it finds its way past the horizon. I am still trying to find my way past the horizon, still reaching for opportunity, striving for an advent, not of biblical proportions, but instead in every new morning, every new horizon. Every morning with you is a new horizon. Bed sheets tangled in ways that resemble becoming, unfolding. The way that we bunch them up to resemble each other in the absence of a warm body. The way that even the presence of a warm body becomes a facsimile, a metaphor for presence. Perhaps the bed sheets are a sunrise. Or maybe you and I are a sunrise, the beauty of a sunrise being that it can be so many things. So many different variations and permutations, and yet remain so very close to its own essence. I wonder if this poem, too, is a sunrise. That's it for the open mic. We are going to get started very shortly with our feature, but first I want to start by shouting out Sanary Penn, who has been such a wonderful community member for us. Sanary and I go back a ways. I first met Sanary at one of the Untitled open mics back when we were at Rude Awakening, pre-pandemic times, and I was just absolutely blown away with how powerful a presence she can be on the mic and off the mic. The way that she shows up for her community time and time again to support every person that she comes across. And I am so thankful and so grateful to have been able to stay connected to her over the years, be able to collaborate with her on a variety of different projects. And now to have her bring some of the poets from her community, from CALAA, to our space and bring it full circle is just such a blessing. So without further ado, please welcome Sanary to the stage.
Oh my gosh. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for having me. I've been so excited about tonight because I was telling Ricky and Ricka, like, this is a homecoming for me. I haven't been here as consistently as I would like to, but it's one of the first places that I really felt like it was a home and a community and a family. And I remember when my daughter was working at Brood back then, and kept saying, hey, you need to come to this Untitled open mic. And I'm like, I don't have a lot of time, But she eventually convinced me to go out there. And I found out later on that one of my CALAA colleagues actually had a connection to Ricky. And so it even made more sense for me to come out and support the Lowell Poetry Wheel and the Untitled Open Mic, and here I am. I wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about CALAA and how it began, because the Untitled Open Mic and the Lowell Poetry Wheel was one of the first community partners that we collaborated with to kind of highlight and uplift the voices of folks in the Khmer diaspora. And it was one of the first places that I, in a very long time, was able to share some of my writing. And I gotta tell you, like, writing has really been a huge part of my life and journey. It started off as like therapeutic and cathartic as a young person, journaling and just, being able to get my thoughts out of my head. If you grow up in any Asian household, you're told you can't really express emotions or feelings. You kind of just got to deal with it. And so, the pen and the paper hold no judgment. And so I turn to the pen and the paper to kind of console me and to be a confidant. And I learned that once you start writing something long enough, it's only a matter of time before you want to say it out loud. And that is part of finding your voice and, really learning about yourself and how you interact with the world and everyone in it. So today, as part of my readings, I want to talk about, we're living in some really difficult times with some really difficult things going on, some really hurtful things, some really heavy things. And I've just been really kind of leaning in towards spaces where I have my community, where I feel like we can be open and accepting of one another and sharing each other's experiences, and how that opens our minds to the different ways that people can live and exist and not, I don't know how to say this, be in conflict with one another, give each other grace, be more open and accepting of the fact that people have the freedom to choose how they want to live. And I also think about the people who have really influenced me, and how those folks are not necessarily the folks who probably had the longest track record in my life, but the moment that connection that we shared, it transcends all that time, even though they're not physically in the space with me. Right? So I have 3 pieces to share. And the first one I'm going to start off with is a piece about trigger warning. I talk about intergenerational trauma. I talk about war, talk about violence. There's death, especially death when it comes to children. I also talk about, mental health and how that affects people. So the first poem I'm going to read, and please, if anything feels heavy, like Ricky had said before, take space, move, take care of yourself. And Ricky, I'm gonna give you a little piece of academic, historical feedback on why Cambodians spell the PH, the puff sound,
Yes.
right? With PH, because in French enunciation, the PH does not make an F sound. It's only in the English language that it does that. So when Cambodians came here and during that era, when they were ruled under French rule, they were learning French. And so when they came to America and they were spelling things out, they were using the PH sound, not necessarily knowing that English phonetics with PH. So my name is Sienna Reed Penn and not Fen, and your name is actually very similar to my baby brother that I lost back in '96. His name is Sapanara, and you're Sapanaya, so it's not that different. So I think that's not coincidence that we found each other. So here it goes. Family karma. And this is how old I'm getting because I can't read with my glasses. And that's why I have paper instead of my phone, guys. They say I resemble you, Gongmao. They tell me, like you, I am Khmer Ra'aim. Earth-toned skin and soulful eyes. Perhaps I am you reincarnated. The remnants of your soul yearning, your essence returning for sacred refuge. Beyond cosmic karmic bonds, transcending the never-ending cycles of life and death, birth and rebirth, in pursuit of Buddha's truth, nirvana. I feel mother's pain seeping deep in my skin, somber echoes of grief, voice breaking, calling out for long lost children, cries like jagged glass shards piercing weathered, worn, and aching hearts, buried in hurried, unnamed, unmarked graves against the hushed whispers of final moments. Mother said, father's arms held tight, holding on to breaths of hope, determined and unwavering in love's warmth, promising today, tomorrow, forever, always. I wonder what it would have been like to know you, to know Bonpai, familiar hands clasped tightly, fingers intertwined in tears and laughter. Is it truly better to have loved and lost than to have never known love in this lifetime or the next? Knowing, not knowing, it's all the same. The pain remains, and I remain tethered to you, and you to me, in the infinite sea of ancestors, summoned through invocations of love, incantations humming with loss and longing for all who have yet to come, and all who came before and bore the harshness of this mortal realm. Prayers for guidance on its travel weary road, fateful endings existing side by side as we subside into the wide expanses of time, becoming one again, complete, full, and whole. Thank you. So oh man, I've been thinking, W Fresh. I love Dr. W Fresh, because he held this space together. He has been such an icon, a mentor, a guide for a lot of young writers. And they made me think back to the first person that saw that gift for writing in me. And so my W Fresh, my Dr. W Fresh was Mr. Daniel Patrick Murphy. And I met Mr. Murphy my sophomore year of high school. And during that time, my youngest brother, who was about 7 years younger than I am, had terminal cancer. And he was, I was naive. I knew that's what was coming, but I, was in denial. And so I didn't feel like he was going to go anywhere to me. And at that point, I was struggling with my academics, even though I was a really gifted student and I had failed a test. And he called me in and asked me, like, what's going on, kid? And I broke down and cried in front of his desk. And he told me, it's okay, it's all good. I'm gonna throw out this bad grade. We're just gonna grade you on the stuff that you did. And I got like a 99 in his class for that semester. And he shared with me a story that he wrote about that interaction with him and I. I mean, he changed some of the facts, obviously, to protect my privacy, but it really touched me in a way that nothing has. And all these years later, I have reconnected with Mr. Murphy. I had reached out to him because he had been sending me poems because he found me on CALAA's website. And he was sending me all his writings, and I haven't heard from him in a little while. And I reached out to him, but I haven't heard back, and I hope he's okay, but I wanted to read this in his honor. And the title of his piece is called River Shadows, Mekong to the Merrimack River by Daniel Patrick Murphy. They trek over dead bodies that were half hidden by maggots that searched for living flesh. Damn English tenses. These kids never get past and present right. Jesus Christ. Danny Murphy was irritated, not because of the students. It was those son of a bitch bureaucrats, the clerical minds buggering up the world that made his job more difficult. Slowly, he inhaled and exhaled, rotating his head to relieve the tension in his neck, then resumed correcting Sanary Penn's composition paper, The Tragedy of Cambodia. Maggots that search for living flesh, when they search for decayed flesh, Why don't these kids weigh their choice of words before they write? He quickly scanned his classroom, passing a painting with an elongated figure painted by Modigliano, a picnic scene on the scenery by Renoir, and stopped at Picasso's Guernica. Fragments of his Uncle Peter's calloused hands, big as weapons, as if craggy, smiling peasant face, and of his wild eyes flashed through his mind. Then he remembered Peter saying, "It's the bureaucrats that carry out the orders of the lunatic generals and mad leaders of the world. It has always been that way. There's a lot of good people in the world. It is a shame they're in the minority." So Danny smiled appreciatively when he thought of how much he'd learned from his uncle. If he hadn't visited Peter in Ireland, he wouldn't have known about his great grandfather starving to death in the Great Famine, or about his great grandmother, the legendary widow McNamara, throwing boiling oil in the faces of the soldiers who were evicting her from her thatched cabin. After class the following day, Sandry waited until the classroom was empty and walked between the jumbled desk and forgotten books on the floor. She stood in front of her teacher, her shoulders hunched slightly forward. Looking into Sandry's eyes, he thought of Bungaku, an Oriental play he had seen on educational TV. Sandry looked younger than 16, perhaps 12 or 13, and her face appeared pale and plaintive, like that of an actress in one of those Bungaku plays. "Mr. Murphy, did you correct the papers yet?" "Yes, Sandry, yours is very well written. You seem to have a little problem with past tense, though." Sandry stiffened slightly and tilted her eyes towards the floor. "Yes, Mr. Murphy." "Oh, Sandry, it's nothing to worry about." There was an awkward hesitation between them. "What did I get for a grade?" she seemed to be asking herself. "You got an A," he said. She smiled slightly. "Sandry, what you've written in the story, is this true about what happened in Cambodia and the camps in Thailand?" "Yes." Sandry had sad, dark eyes that rarely glowed, so that when they did, it left a distinct impression. He appreciated the handwritten comment she put at the end of her paper. "Mr. Murphy, you are the only teacher that has ever made me laugh. Thank you." "No, Jenny. I mean, what happened in Cambodia and the camps in Thailand?" "My father tells me stories about Cambodia and the camps in Thailand. So this is a true story?" "Yes." "How did your brother and sister die?" "It's in the story, Mr. Murphy." "You mean they starved to death?" She remained silent. Her silky black hair outlined her high cheekbones. Her pale skin seemed to grow slightly ashen. "Is it difficult for you to remember these things?" "I don't remember them, Mr. Murphy. My father told me about them. I was a baby when we escaped." Inhaling slowly, Mr. Murphy asked, "Do you have other brothers and sisters?" "I have a brother and a sister." "Oh, good." Danny Murphy fumbled, not knowing how to respond. "How old are they?" "My brother is 7 and my little sister is 4. Her eyes became hollow as though she couldn't see. "How is your father doing now? Does he like it here in America?" "He says okay, but he's worried." "Worried about what?" "In a miniature village of Battambang, there lives a girl by the name of Gia. I have to go to court with my father tomorrow." "Does he speak any English?" "No, that's why I have to go. At the schools, the Khmer Rouge soldiers teach young children to hate their parents." "You have to translate for him?" "Yes." Danny thought a moment and asked, "Why does he have to go to court?" "He can't make the house payments. He lost his job." "I see. I work. Maybe we can keep the house." "Where do you work?" He pictured her slight frame lifting heavy boxes. "I work for a doctor downtown." "Oh, I see. Your father must be very nervous about losing the house." "Yes, he is." "How about your mother? What's her name? Does she work?" "Her name is Gia. It means cured." "No, she does not work. My brother has cancer. She stays home with him." Feeling the heaviness deepen, he replied hesitantly, "Your brother has cancer?" "Yes, my brother Pai. He has leukemia. He was named after my dead brother. The soldiers have taken his body and buried him in a shallow, unmarked grave." Aloud, he thought, "Your brother has cancer. Your father may lose his house. You're working." Danny was trying to absorb this information. He had a heavy feeling inside, felt a mixture of sorrow and compassion. His face flushed and his eyes moistened. To relieve this feeling, he began fumbling with papers on his desk. "I have to go to Children's Hospital in Boston once, sometimes twice a week with my brother and my mother." The bell rang loudly. It was 11:06 a.m. and time for the next class to begin. Fortunately, Mr. Murphy had a spare period. Mr. Murphy, could I have a note for being late for my next class? I have Mr. Raymond, and he'll give you detention. Okay, Sannery, you wouldn't want Mr. Raymond having a conniption, right? What's a conniption, Mr. Murphy? That's when a teacher turns red in the face like a ripe apple, and his voice cracks like lightning, and begins to shake like a bowl of jelly, and his fat fingers look like hairy cheese, and his eyes bounce up and down like a yo-yo. Danny regularly used humor to distance himself and others from his personal feelings. Sannery smiled. Mr. Murphy, you're crazy. See you the day after tomorrow, Sannery. Let me know how things turn out. Bye, Mr. Murphy. As she walked out of the classroom and turned down the corridor, Danny's eyes began to fill up. Danny walked toward the teacher's lounge with a gloomy feeling about the details that Sannery had just shared. As he was attempting to shake off this feeling, Mr. Happiness, the headmaster, stopped him in the corridor. The headmaster was renowned for his gray-tinted hairpiece that almost matched his genuine hair. He had rounder shoulders, a double chin complemented by a pot belly, and had a conspicuous pride concerning his oversized wedding ring. Mr. Murphy, I want to talk to you in my office. It'll only take a minute. Sure. He wondered what surprise they'd have for him this time. Jesus, this wasn't the time for his inane baloney. They walked into his office, and Mr. Happiness shut the door. His office walls had bad pictures of all the school committee people in town and the entire city council. I'm sorry. And between the pictures of grinning mayors and the sober-faced city manager was a bronze rectangular plaque containing the words, "Art is the handmaid of human good." This was the city of Lowell's emblem. You were seen leaving the building 5 minutes early, Wednesday at 1:55, said Mr. Happiness. What? You were seen leaving the building early. Danny felt tension rising in his neck muscles. Tia runs to her daughter, scooping the limp body in her arms. Of course, I can't tell you who saw you, Mr. Happiness said, patting his hairpiece. That's not all, he continued, while shaking his index finger at Mr. Murphy. You were heard playing a flute in the study hall. Study halls are for studying. Everywhere they went in the jungle, they could smell it. Death, chaos, and despair, and eerie screams in the night. It was common knowledge that Mr. Happiness was a bona fide blockhead. Danny was nevertheless having trouble managing the anger rising in himself. He sensed his feelings about Sannery's story were getting entangled with the pettiness of what he was now hearing, and he was attempting to keep his perspective clear. Why did you tell me to come to your office? Danny asked, as he began cracking his knuckles. Look, this could work against you. I'm in charge here. As news traveled of the invasion by the Vietnamese, the Khmer Rouge became uneasy and began moving their campsites. I know you're in charge here, Mr. Happiness, Danny intoned as he leaned toward the headmaster. But this isn't over yet. You better obey the rules in the school. Yes, sir. I'll obey the rules. Good day, Mr. Happiness. My lunch break is nearly over. As dawn approached, Gia waited for the right time to cook her rice. The camp was in tremendous turmoil as group leaders forced people to start moving. She was named Sannery, so she would never forget where she was born. Mr. Murphy's shoulders nodded as he walked towards the teacher's lounge. There was something eating away at the base of his brain. He clenched and unclenched his hands and tightened his forearms, hoping to shake his feelings of sadness. Once he was in the lounge, he moved into a glass wedge, an alcove that looked over the Merrimack River. At the edge of his attention, he heard teachers bantering and smelled greasy odor coming from the school cafeteria. He looked out the window of the lounge and caught the current of the river. It flowed darkly towards the Atlantic Ocean, and his thoughts shimmered across its surface. If he were on a boat, he could go downriver, enter the estuary in Ireland. Gia and her husband cried so much. They feared the soldiers would hear her crying through the dark nights. Danny thought of his Uncle Peter again and remembered the details Uncle had told him about the Great Famine. They have coffins with the body. They drop you into the pit so they can use the coffin again. The camp guard took her rice porridge. Danny remembered feeling his spine tingle and his mouth parch when his uncle used the present tense as though history were living flesh, a succession of gossamer bonds, an unfolding tale of ashen and crimson faces. I'm breathing a little bit after that one. I remember the first time he shared that piece with me, and I couldn't get over how somebody like that I had impacted somebody's life, that through sharing my story and my experience that we built this connection and has never faded over the years. And I still look for him now. So, and even though we're not a consistent presence in each other's lives, right? And so I think about that a lot, and I think about being afraid to get close to people because of fear of losing them, because of all the things that we have gone through. But I think there is a little bit of hope and romance and faith in like believing in the possibilities of those types of connections that can last forever. But at the same time, even if they don't, it's still a really lovely thing to hold on to. So my last is called Time Blindness. And I just been exploring, I had my kids really young. I never really dated. Like anything of like when it comes to like romantic love used to make me kind of sick. And because that sappy like teenage lovey-dovey stuff, it was just kind of like I don't know. I thought it was like that was behind me. But there's recently I've had some of those feelings, and it's kind of been like putting me on a like a really like weird thought process and learning more about myself and how I feel about those things. So this piece is centered around some of that, and it's called Time Blindness. When we first met, I didn't think much of it, although I did take note of how you spoke and the soothing sound of your voice. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed listening to you speak. Still, none of that seemed to mean too much to me. After all, we were just a couple of strangers sharing space. You, the steady figure in the back of the bar watching the screen, and me, the karaoke queen singing my blues away. We could have stayed that way forever and a day. You were my in another lifetime, part of another timeline. Something that was an inkling I chucked up to being a figment of my imagination. But before I knew it, I was wearing your art against my skin, and I don't even know when it was that I let you in. Maybe it was the lingering hugs that steadied the beating of my heart. Maybe it was the way we didn't have to say anything at all, because what's felt and understood needs not be spoken. Maybe I need to bring this thing to an end before it even begins, because life has its own plan, and in the grand scheme of things, where do we fit in? Our lives are so different. But in the wide open spaces of this universe, I found you. And in this little microcosm where chance, love, and fate might have you doing a double take and wondering, perhaps, in another lifetime, in another timeline. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my work with you and for giving me this space. As part of our CALAA feature and the work that we're doing in uplifting Cambodian writers, I'd like to welcome one of my colleagues and fellow writers up to the stage, Mr. Chat Pirsad. Some quick facts about Mr. Chat Prasad. Chat Prasad is a writer and visual artist based in central Massachusetts in Bolton. He lives and works on a small family farm. He came to the United States from Cambodia as a child refugee in 1981. His first two published books of poems are After This Body Mystery, On Earth Beneath Sky, and he also wrote the children's book Sinat, an Instrument of the Heart. Please welcome Mr. Chat Prasad.
Thank you, Senator. This is my first time like this, so I'm blown away by the great poets that have presented. Thank you for having me. I'm gonna just read. Right now, I'm working on 3 books. I did the visual part first. It's called the Book of Love, the Book of Names, and the Book of Numbers. And I'm reading from the Books of Numbers. It's called The book of love. I celebrate love in the book of love, singing to sunrise when it sets to the wilderness of my own lungs. I rub tree trunks in the dark, in the breeze announces its existence through swings and hammock, the crescent moon, how the touch of warmth or chill plays my skin, tender and sweet. A lover leans, heavy but light, a feather tickling my sun to his to my nose, a rose, a frangipani, a frankincense and myrrh, an oregano sublime green, all colors of natural foreplay, yoke to yoke, butt to butt, cheek to cheek, slopes and curvatures, valleys and meadows, sun shadows, a rock cha cha cha, the slow, the slow bolero of the woods. I sing and dance as you with me, flirting, birds and bees, shaded eyes, a rose arouse. Oh, the nipples, tadpoles in a pond, moss on rock, hidden from the sun. I run myself to you from you, lips and open tongue. I look high up the canopy. I hear a mockingbird imitating the illustrious heartaches of being, the pecking of a woodpecker, tap tap tap, a knockout awakening of light, scratching steps of squirrels, the distant pounding human drums, a hummingbird drone past the great, the goat, the sheep, the donkey, and yes, the man I love, always in a conscious state of dream, calling my name, to name each bird by the color of its feathers, the Baltimore Orioles, the goldfinch yellow, the cardinal red, and then the quiet, the cold chalice of withdrawal. I sing, I dance in order to breathe. Okay, in this book, I write about three countries because historically we're connected to each other, and I live in both three countries. I write about France, I write about Cambodia, and then the United States. And I'm gonna just read one poem called American Monsoon. I miss you in April, rain time. I miss your lips, delicate and rouge. My fingerprint would go over them with my eyes inside you, like a sharpened tender blade, a prick of my own life into yours. I miss the green flesh of your room, high up in stilts, thatch concealed, your will over mine, arresting me in my place. You fill my emptiness with the scent of roses. Your bed was unmade by lovers before me. Now you're mine in this moment in time to unravel. Fill my throat with thirst, honey my lips to yours. Give me your swallow to stave off hunger. Lie down to be undressed by my noble hands. Let a mango shower in the east all over this land, your America of tongue and cheek. Father me to sleep with your English poems, abreast and on your pillow, where I shall be an American. Rain, let it rain. I am done crying. I am no longer afraid of thunder and lightning. I am here to sing of peace, done grieving of war. I am here to play. Your charade is perfectly fine. I am here to dance and forget how I had to run. I ran into the safety of your arms, the security of your monsoon rain, singing America, I can love again.
All right, y'all, give it up one more time for chat. And last but certainly not least, we have our next feature poet, Jambran Chan. A little bit about Jambran. Chong is rooted in culture, healing, and creativity. She is a Khmer American artist born and raised in Lowell, Mass. And is currently a psychology major at Middlesex Community College, where she thrives as a student leader. And as aspiring arts therapist, she is guided by the belief that creativity is a powerful tool for healing. Her work centers on storytelling, identity, and community. She doesn't just tell her story, she reclaims, honors, and shares it to inspire others to recognize their story matters too. Hi everybody, I'm so nervous. Yo, I'm nervous, but at the same time, I feel so safe here. So thank all of you guys for being here and curating this space. I actually grew up watching Ricky read his poems at Brood Awakening. Yeah. So Ricky, you are a huge inspiration to me. Yeah, all the flowers, all the flowers. This is my first time reading here. And then I've always wanted to say this. I'm trying to do this thing, and I actually take the time to stop and celebrate. This past semester, I received this award, and I was recognized as a Dream Scholar. And I was chosen 1 out of 8 students in the whole nation. So, yeah, no, it's kind of crazy. And I'm again not just trying to blaze past it, but I found out I was chosen out of 16 million students. So I was like, yo, I need to say that. I need to step in it. So when I was selected, they told me that I had to write a poem, and I've written poems before, but they told me that I had to read a poem in front of thousands of people, and that's something that I'm definitely not familiar with. So this past semester, since the beginning of this year, I've faced a lot of fears, and I've grown. And with y'all here, I feel like a giant. So this poem is about where I'm from. It's about who I am, and it is about who I'm also becoming. Where I'm from, my name means to flourish, prosper, and grow. Chum Ran. Chum Ran. Say it with me. Chum Ran. Sok Chum Ran. A blessing shared. I wish you peace and prosperity. My name is from my grandmother's velvet hands, descaling tilapia with a spoon, silver skin scraping against metal, squatted low on a wooden stool, golden turmeric, lemongrass, lime leaves, thumping inside mortar and pestle,
like a heartbeat you could hear from the next room. Dai, my nyom, my grandmother's hands, wrinkled like folded linen, always working. And when finally rested, pressed tight against her solar plexus, incense smoke curling through the room, prayers spoken softly to our ancestors, thanking, remembering. I am from a Khmer household, a three-story home of generations that held our family like stacked vertebrae. Roots on the first floor, roots on the first floor, brothers, parents, my grandmothers, meals and routines stitched into the walls. Above us, cousins spilled across the second floor, laughter and footsteps leaking through the ceiling. On the third floor, more grandparents, quiet, elevated, constant. I am from a home where care was shared like jasmine rice at dinner, passed hand to hand, plate to plate. I am from a city of immigrants and refugees. Lo, the streets. Symphony of Khmer prayers drifting past Spanish laughter, Portuguese singing into summer sidewalks, broken English and other tongues, languages dancing in the air, untranslated, unashamed, each block humming its own story. I am also from not feeling beautiful because of the color of my skin. I remember aunties at the Asian market, eyes measuring skin the way they weigh fruit, comparing the brownness of me with my brother. They call me Kmaustra, my darker brother, Kmaukaprit, judging the shade of our skin like fruit in their hands. My chest tightened, taught to protect him, taught to respect him, mouth learning how to stay closed. But now I stand and I speak, back through the silence I once swallowed. Dear brother, I wish you could see what I see. Your brown Khmer skin, how it catches the sun and turns it into gold. I want to give you the words I didn't have then, to unlearn the ones that were handed to us too early, to tell you your body was never something to compare, never something to correct. If they named your skin dirty, I rename it rich and worthy. If they taught us to shrink, I teach us to shine. I am Chumran Chan, the eldest daughter of my Khmer family, born into a role that felt too heavy for small hands, taught to hold my words like my breath, while bearing the weight of expectations like stones stacked onto my chest. But now I know to say my name the way my grandmother says it, the way Buddhist monks would sing it in the temples. Chom Ran. And now I use my voice for the silence, the afraid, for the hands that held me, for the streets that raised me. I tell my siblings their brown skin glows, fluorescent like amber, translating what I learned at home into healing. Now I see my path leading to art therapy, taking the creative ways that soothed myself as a child, the drawings, the colors, the making that held me together, and turn them into spaces, spaces where others feel seen, safe, and whole. I plant seeds of care into my community of refugees and immigrants, shaken by the forces that try to uproot us, not knowing that our roots braid and run deep like a banyan tree. Anchored in the strength of my ancestors, I am the rhythm of belonging, the quiet power of presence. Learning before I knew that leadership is not just my inheritance, it is my calling. I am Jumran Chan. Manifested to flourish, I speak my name like an affirmation. Manifested to flourish, I speak my name like an affirmation, the way my ancestors blessed it into being. And in its sound, I rise.
Gosh, that was so amazing, guys. I loved it so much. Thank you, Lopez. Shibuya, Untitled, Ricky, Rickoff, Connor. Oh, and I miss Nikolai. Where is my Nikolai? Why is my homie not here? Please tell them that I miss them. But I also wanted to say, if you loved what you saw here and you want to support CLA, the Cambodian American Literary Arts Association, please visit our website. It's CALAA, Lowell, like the city, .org. Share our stories, let people know about us, and donate. I recently took on the role, because I'm crazy, as executive director. We are a totally, fully volunteer organization. None of us get paid. Just like Connor was talking about how we're all broke. Yeah, we're all broke. But we love this stuff, and we feel like it's impactful and it's powerful and it brings people together. And so we're gonna keep doing it. So we might get paid a little bit here and there, right? And we can help each other out doing that. So again, thank you so much, Local Shibuya, Untitled Mike. Y'all are my homies for life. For real.
Definitely check out the zine. And y'all are still doing some submissions, right?
That is correct. Oh, I almost forgot about that. So we are publishing our fourth edition of the Stilt House zine. It's been a long time coming, we're all fully volunteer and people are a little burnt out, so we had to take a little bit of a break, but we're back on track and we got some funding to complete the zine, and we need your stories to make it happen. So please find us and submit something. And the theme for this publication is music and memories. And I know y'all love music, right? I love music. And it speaks to our memories, and it does something to us, this art that we consume, right? So please share that experience and what it's like for you, and something that somebody else might connect to and like be part of their healing journey or part of their spiritual journey. It's just great to be able to do that.
Awesome. Y'all, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us on this lovely Wednesday Low Poetry Wheel on Instagram, lowpoetry.com. We're going to be we're going to be cleaning up now. So feel free to chop it up real quick. You don't have to go home,
but you
can stay here. All right. Y'all been amazing. Connect. Enjoy the rest of your day and continue to write. Thank you.